And welcome everyone to this Thursday night's edition of Southern Woods and Waters. And boy, the weather changed today. I'm telling you, I got out my woolies. I'm telling you, I got my. It ought to be against the law to wear your pajamas, but a lot of people still wearing their pajamas out there in public. I got my blue jeans on, but I had to put something a little warmer on for the show tonight. And we have got a great one tonight for you. We know a lot of people are getting ready for their Christmas and New Year's. We're not going to talk about gifts, though. We got a panel tonight that is ready to talk about fishing, a little bit of what's left of the hunting season. But we want to mainly get you educated in what's going on fishing right away. So let's broaden out and introduce our guest to you right now. My main guest, Miss Joy. Miss Joy, hey.
It's her. It's all you,
That's
baby.
you.
That's you.
It's you. You the main
That's you.
guest.
That's you.
No,
You're eye candy for the show. They now look pretty rough.
You keep us in this fine figure with all that food you cook. You know what I mean? It's hard to maintain this figure with all that food.
That's exactly right. It's hard to stay plump and jolly if you're not being fed the right stuff.
Especially the recipe of the week.
I'm telling you,
dang, man.
It was good looking, isn't it? Hey, we got Miss Joy on here with us tonight. She's going to help us out with a little bit because she's been spending a lot of time in the woods. Not quite as much as we did last year.
No.
But
We've been busy.
yeah, we kind of been busy this year. But with her, along with her, sitting over there beside her, Mr. Dayton Blair. And I tell you what, if you don't know the Blairs, you haven't been fishing long. I can tell you that because Dayton and Jimbo. Want to give a big shout out to Jimbo and Miss Jenny. Miss Jenny
just had surgery.
We hope she gets to feeling better really, really fast. Jimbo did the right thing in staying with Miss Jenny and staying by her side and make sure that he went and got the water.
But he didn't realize that the lake's done been pulled down 3 foot. If he did, he'd be over plug hunting.
That's exactly.
You hear me?
He
But
said,
he don't
Jenny,
know
you're
that.
going to have to wait.
He'll be over there looking for RC and them shad raps and everybody over there, you know?
So, Robin, you take Jenny.
Yeah.
I'm going to plug
Yeah,
hunting.
they got it figured out. They got it figured out.
That's right. But I tell you what, we want to get into, a lot of Christmas stuff going on, a lot of last minute shopping going on. But, for those that have already done a lot of their Christmas shopping, they got to be thinking fishing. I mean, it's getting down to the last part of the deer season. It's really, from now on, is your hardcore hunters. They're going to be out there. They're fighting the cold and bitter and the wind blowing 40 mile an hour.
If we got cold.
Yeah, well, it finally got cold today. It's getting there.
Yeah.
It was snowing when we got up here.
It was snowing when we came up here, so it was.
I imagine it'll affect the fish really a whole bunch. They probably won't bite nothing.
See, they won't bite
No,
now
they
that
just-
we've had the show.
Right.
But we fishing has got to be on a lot of people's mind, and it really is. I get a lot of emails. Got a call from a guy I met at one of the Bass Pro Shop seminar deals. And he said, Hugh, I'm going to send you a bunch of pictures. He said, we have been wearing out the big largemouth on Nickajack. So that's another lake you don't hear very much about.
Right.
But Nickajack's got some
Chickamauga and all of them. They're great lake. They got grass in them.
So what are you teasing Scott about tonight on the phone coming up here that he couldn't go with you?
Collins River muskie fishing. No.
Collins River and calf killers.
Calf killer and all that
musky fishing. No.
You don't tie
Well, here's
We're
what
gonna take
everybody
care of 'em.
forgets about. Everybody gets into that mode of bass fishing, all that, man. Crappie, catfish, everything else is biting. This rain's got the creeks moving.
That's right.
Fresh water coming in. Your old springs are boiling up out there, and every lake's got fresh water running in it. Kentucky Lake, Barkley, Cordell, Hull, Center Hill, it don't matter.
And this is a good time. I want to go ahead and tell everybody, this is a good time. You said we had a 3-foot pull down at Priest.
They pulled it at least 2 foot in the last 5 days. They jerked it down.
Well, that affects the fishing too. I don't care what anybody says when they're
Well,
when
it
they're
affects
running
the fishermen. It don't affect the fish much, but it affects the fishermen.
Well, in some instances, I think because they're up there trying to maintain, and all of a sudden they're in skinny water, they're going to jut out.
At least you ain't got to fish as much or jerking some
Yeah,
out.
you got to find them.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And taking away some space
That's
there.
taking away
You know,
all
that's
the
what
space.
makes it easier.
We need to go out there and find some of our lures.
That's right, but what I was trying to say is this is a great time. The Blairs take their camera around and take pictures of certain things.
And handheld GPSs.
And handheld GPSs.
Because you can walk the lake and find all the stump rows you want to find, rock piles,
Standing trees.
Standing trees, or you can just take and make your own. That's a big deal we do. We make our own structure and mark it on the GPS. I mean, it's not something that's there for 10 years, but it's there for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, you
And it's
and I went
natural
out.
structure. It's laying there. It's just rocks and sticks. You go up there in the woods, pull you a bunch of brush out, find you a big old rock pile that's got crevices in it, and just ram it down in there and throw some rocks on it
Well,
where it don't float away, and then come back by. And,
You and Jimbo had told Joe and I about a slave wall, but
Yep.
you couldn't see it when the water was up. Now the water's down.
and it's wide open.
We saw it.
Right.
I mean, it's there. And we
And the
went
lake's
when the water
finally
was
getting
up.
so old that some of the stuff's really kind of washing out a little bit nowadays, and it's just not like it was 20 years ago, but everything's there.
Oh, yeah.
But you got a lot of springs you want to hit this time of year.
Yeah. Now the springs bring
Bluff
the
ends,
constant temperature.
River channels, and that's pretty much anywhere. Kentucky Lake, I mean, just anywhere you go. You got this fresh water coming in, watercolor, spinner baits, jigs, flipping. Then you got the fish that's already out there in that 30-foot to vibe blade, and there's still fish that's shallow, deep. I seen guys catching crappie the other day with a floating minnow not 2.5, 3 foot deep around crappie markers.
See?
You know, I mean, it's they're there. The fish are there for the catching. It's just a matter of getting out there and doing it. I mean,
Now all that stuff that we filmed with TWRA and Stewart's Creek on
Right.
Percy Priest, is it out of the water now?
almost. They still
Okay.
got to pull it down a little bit. It's not to winter pool. It's probably got 2 more foot, 2.5 foot.
And then they're going to maintain Winter Pool.
Sure. Hopefully, if they get it down, I mean, it's already almost January.
Oh yeah.
So April, they bring it back up to summer pool, April and May. So we've only got 3 more months for them to get it down. And then if we're going to have any kind of a shad kill, it better get cold because we don't have long. I mean,
No, we don't.
We ain't going to have a winter. And, I mean, you're talking the 1st of January fixing to come up, and the water temperature is 50 degrees.
I know.
And fish relate differently in that water temperature. I mean, you got some fish, yeah, they're out there, but you got fish that's shallow and deep and feeding, and some it's not feeding, and just a whole different field out there right now.
If we don't get cold weather, if we don't have a shad kill, how's it going to affect us this year?
Well, I'll tell you, the big fish at all your lakes, and people know this that are fishermen at Kentucky, at Old Hickory, anywhere you go, if you don't have a cold winter come January and February and them days get back up to 55, your big bass are already full of eggs. They're already got eggs in them now. They're starting to produce eggs. Your big fish always spawn first. And then the later on
So
in the
they
year,
could actually spawn in
it's-
February.
That's right. But it's not that all of them come up at once. You know, every lake has a transition area and all that. But your bigger fish come up earlier. That's just a fact.
Oh yeah.
And like you take Old Hickory, Kentucky Lake versus a reservoir like Priest, they have to deal with all that cool water and all the flow of water going through. So it changes their bedding habits and feeding habits and water levels and so forth.
And it doesn't change that much on
But if it
Priest.
don't get cold enough to make minnows get off the bank and get out there deep, then, I mean, the fish ain't really going to be out there deep. You know, they're going to be with the bait.
All right. Hey, we got to take our first break, but get ready with a pen and pad because we got a lot more tips headed your way. So hurry back to more Southern Woods and Waters. This segment is being brought to you by Stan Sloan Zora Bait Company, where setting the hook is an everyday thing. This segment is being brought to you by Fate Sanders Marina. Come by and check out the jewel of Percy Priest Lake. All right, welcome back, each and every one of you, to our Pictures of the Week, being brought to you by Flowers Deer Processing. Hey, he said the warm temperature's been affecting them a little bit. They hadn't been coming in with quite so many deer, but he said every cold snap, he said, we get ransacked. So I bet he's looking at tomorrow being a real busy day. All right, our first picture this week is, hey, this is a good friend of ours that sent in and said, Hugh, here's a main beam 9-point, but he has 6 kickers on his base at least. And this is the Judge Mallory. You've seen him on the show. This is his son that took this bruiser of a buck. And he said, say again, thank you, Hugh. We appreciate that very much. Our next picture, this is Little Bob. Little Bob in Fairview, Tennessee. He took his .22 caliber Marlin out, and he stood one spot, and he took 2 squirrels right there, 2 fuzzy tails. Took them out of one spot, and he never even moved. So good job there, Little Bob. our third picture, hey, you see that guy on the left? Well, he's in studio right now. This is December the 8th tournament. First place winners with the second big fish was Dayton and Jimbo Blair. You guys came in with 19.26 pounds.
Yeah.
That's an awesome deal. And then our second place winners here was Bobby Davis and Jeremy Hurd with 13.62 pounds. So you guys kind of stole the show by about 6 pounds there, buddy. And then number 5 picture, just had to show you this. This came from Thomas Dixon in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. And Thomas said, Hugh, I enjoy your show each and every Thursday night. I'm sending you a picture of a white squirrel that came to our backyard in Mount Juliet, Tennessee on December the 4th of this year. Thought you might want to put this picture on your board. Thanks so much. It's UT-Papa1 at Comcast.net. Big UT fan, but thank you so much, Thomas. That was a great picture there. And you can send your pictures to us here at Southern Woods and Waters, 474 James Robinson Parkway, Nashville, Tennessee, 37219. Or simply email them to me at hugh@southernwoodsandwaters.com. We'll get them on here really fast. A lot more pictures coming in. Matter of fact, Dayton, you got a bunch of pictures in. That you were going to send me from Keith and a few others.
Yeah, a bunch of buddies that killed a monster deer right over there on Coreland in Wilson County.
Did you have to say that?
Well, I'll give you Wilson County, but it's a core property deer, and that way, public land's still full of deer. It's late in the year.
It sure is.
I mean, everybody don't really get to utilize their resources. They think they don't have anywhere to go. Go on your computer, pull up wildlife management areas on Priest, Old Hickory, everywhere. Yeah. And you want to kill some big deer, go to the Barren River.
That's exactly right.
There's plenty of core property in Kentucky. I mean, everybody's like, I don't have nowhere to hunt in Kentucky. Well, there's plenty of water, and there's plenty of WMA and everything you want to do.
That's right.
You just got to hunt it up and find it.
And you got it all around here, too.
I couldn't see the picture board. Did he shoot that white squirrel? Or was
No.
No, it was live.
It's live.
It stayed live. Mm-hmm. It's still kicking. He's going to send us some more pictures.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's...
He ain't dumplings yet.
He ain't dumplings yet. But now Little Bob better not see him.
That's right. Little Bob get him.
Little Bob will have him.
That's right.
Hey, I tell you what, we just enjoy, squirrel hunting is something that I started off with. I know a lot of guys that are my age and older. That's the way we started.
Well, that's the importance of getting the kids out like that and get everything out. And squirrels are good to eat.
Start off with big guns hunting deer. We just didn't do it.
Didn't have it.
We started off with little 22s and we didn't even have a 17 caliber. We just had 22s.
A few 243s and a 270 come out, the Model 70s, and
we had 30-06. I remember when you had your first 30-30. That was your big. And you knew you had grown to be a man.
And if you had a 30-30 Marlin, that's right.
That's right. When you got that 30-30,
or a good 44 caliber with a scope on it. There's been many deer killed with a pistol.
Oh, that Marlin 44.
Yeah. That's why our guns are so important to us.
That's right.
We use them for resources.
For eating.
To gather resources.
I mean, that's just what I'm saying. We eat, we enjoy them. It's what we do, and that's why we're here in Tennessee, because that's what we're about, bearing arms and having our freedom.
And it's so you're so right. We have, and I keep harping on this. We have a girls' team of skeet shooters here in high school in this state that are world champions.
Right.
And I think there's either 6 or 8 of them, but they put the boys way behind. And when Beretta comes out and gives them 2 shotguns a year.
I mean, that's important.
It is important.
It's very important to the sport, our hunting, and everything that America's about.
Well,
that's what we were raised up on, is firearms and hunting and raising your family on wild game. I mean, it's just not always going to the grocery.
No.
I don't eat beef or pork. Hadn't since 1980.
I mean,
no, I know.
Those skeets are kind of hard to eat, though. I tried one time.
They're terrible.
Yeah. Crunchy.
They're not good. They're not good. But there's all kinds of ways that we used guns on the farm. Especially when I worked a farm, you had groundhogs and everything else taking coyotes and they're taking everything you got.
Mm-hmm.
Cow step in a hole, break his leg, or a horse.
And you had to put them down and stuff. So
it's a necessity.
I think we're all in agreement, though, that that guns aren't what causes these things like in Newtown, Connecticut.
Or whatever
guns aren't
happens.
what did it.
Right.
A gun, you can lay a gun, I don't care if it's the most massive assault weapon you've ever laid your eyes on, you lay it on that coffee table right there, and it still won't do anything. It's that short that it has between the ground and the trigger is what you got to
Just
worry
be
about.
glad we're in Tennessee.
That's right.
True, but now, really and truly, if you don't hunt, you don't fish, you don't understand, you've never been around one, I can see where people think it's a problem. And it might be a part of the problem, just like if you had a piece of pie, a whole pie, you've got your video games. You have the lack of families being together. Your family's
Xbox
close.
is the worst thing in the world.
Isn't it the truth? The video games, the drugs they put these kids on and their parents to cope with every day. Get outside.
Take your prayer out of school is the main thing.
How about the 10 Commandments?
Yeah. And I got to say this. Look at what's happened to the nation. We try our best to get God out, get him off our state buildings, get him off the dollar bill. There was parts of that, we've gone through all of that. Get him out of this, get him out of that. Then we have a catastrophe like 20 little children get killed. And one of the first things everybody goes to is God and prayer.
Exactly.
Why don't we stay there? Why don't we just stay there?
There's a
Pastor
big
Jim
field
said
there.
that.
That's a big field.
I just say,
That's a
let's
big
just
field.
stay right there, stay in God, in prayer with God, and I don't think quite so many things like this will be happening.
That's right. That's right.
But I just think the more we took God out of everything, and then when a catastrophe happens, and
That's the first thing you
that
run
was
to.
terrible.
Right.
I mean, if you didn't, if your heart
Which
didn't
is a good
sink
thing.
down to your feet that day, there's something you need to check up from the neck up,
Yeah.
because
That's
it affected everybody.
Right.
I don't care if you got your own children or if you don't, or if you even look at having children.
Right.
You had to think about
And
it.
you get people tired of hearing about it. Well, it's reality. It's something you're going to have to deal with and you're going to have to listen to. I don't care what channel you put it on and what goes on, but you have to educate the kids on what's going on in the world. You leave them solo and don't have no guidance and divorces and people separating, then there's nothing there.
But I want to get
iPods,
back.
iPads, everything else.
right.
I wanna
But
get
Hugh,
back
those
to-
people that were killed, I won't say one
Go
thing.
ahead.
The teachers, they were just kids themselves.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were just
Right,
20s,
right.
They're just babies themselves.
We got kids raising
But
children, and you're
that's
right.
why I'm saying the state of Tennessee is fixing to
Teachers.
take care of it.
That's right. That's right.
It's different than any other state we have in the world. Tennessee will regulate and take care of our guns, or we ain't got to worry about it. And then they're also going to take care of the kids, because the law enforcement that we have is really focused on this state. I mean, that's just how they are.
And
And we need to stand behind our police officers and our
Here's a prime
state
example.
troopers and all those people that carry
Alan
those
come up to
babies.
me the other day, the Creole officer. I was over there fishing. Alan pulled up on me in a wildlife boat. Alan don't have any kind of a weapon to defend himself at all.
Al Barletto.
Alan don't have nothing to defend himself. If he pulls up on
He's
somebody,
got that University of Kentucky hat he can hit you
well,
with.
yeah, he'd smack you with that, but that ain't gonna do you no good. You know how Kentucky is. I mean,
He smacked you with
He
that.
smacked me with it.
yeah, but I'm just saying, there's no reason. I mean, everybody needs one. If you're gonna have to approach someone in that manner, you have to have it.
Yeah.
It's just like catching a 6-pound bass on a spook or something. If you ain't got 25-pound test line, you better just make sure you got your drag set.
You better have that drag set right. Let's get back on fishing, because I want to get off of that other, and we got just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, next week's show, next Thursday night, is our taped show, and it will be our Christmas special.
Don't miss it.
Do not miss it.
It's
You do not want to miss that one. It is eventful. Let me put it to you like that. It's going to be very eventful. And then January 3rd, we're going to film, or we're going to have the same show on. So for 2 weeks, Joe and I get to take our little vacation. Plus, Andrew, the guy that's behind the scenes back there, he's like my Wizard of Oz behind the curtain over there. He gets to take 2 weeks off. So we don't know what we're going to do with ourselves. But
Troll
I
for
do.
sauger.
yeah,
I do.
we're going to go trolling
Go
for
with
sauger.
Go
And
catch
by the
some
way,
rockfish.
we're going with Chris Snow. Chris Snow is headed to Tim's Ford. We're going to Tim's Ford to fish for smallmouth, and we're going to be using that snow spinner. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're don't have that snow spinner in your tackle box right now, like I told you before, you probably be fishing for third or fourth place.
That's like Adam Wagner at Center Hill. He didn't have that, but he had something that's got a little spinner on the back of it that he caught that 19 pounds on.
That's right.
You know.
So it happens. I mean
they're there.
great baits,
Yeah.
and the fish are there. And yes, they get hungry just like you and I do. We got to be at the right place at the right time.
That's right.
A lot of guys and gals right now are headed to Dale Hollow, around Horse Creek and all up
Hendricks
into there.
Creek?
Hendricks Creek.
For the
You got to get up to
smallmouth
Hendricks
fishing.
Creek. And they're using the Tuffy minnows
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. Now, that is a great way to catch. But here's what you need to take: 6-pound test line, fluorocarbon. Get you some what they call. Don't get the split shots. What they call split shots. Get what they call clam shots.
And the
shots.
circle hook.
And the circle hooks. And please do
Why?
not use. Well, let me explain.
Okay.
Please don't use the gold Aberdeen hooks, because
The gut
if you
hooks.
do happen to lose, or that smallmouth, that brown fish breaks that line off, that gold Aberdeen hook, that fish can't digest.
Really?
And it can't kill him. But now that brown circle hook, if it breaks off, you don't have to worry. That fish will probably, about a 95 percentile that it will survive, because the acid inside their stomach linings will take care of that. It'll eat it up.
And something
So-
else, the Caney Fork River, the minnows are fixing to start washing through as they generate, and them trout up there are going to go wild.
Let's save it for the next segment.
8, 9, 10 pounders. I mean, you can see them
I'm not-
chasing minnows just
I
like
know,
bass.
but we
do.
got to save it for our next segment there,
It's
Dayton.
just
I'm
all
telling you,
kinds of stuff.
quit, Dayton, because we got to go to our product of the week. Hey, this week's product of the week is being brought to you by Foul Quest Decoys. Really want to thank these fine folks, Mark Arnold out there, Rick Wood out there in Camden, Tennessee. What a couple of nice guys. They have come out. If you're not using Foul Quest decoys, your birds probably aren't going to come in. So you got to use those Foul Quest decoys. I'm telling you, they're motorized. They look lifelike as all. They look like the ducks are having a blooming
There ain't
party.
nothing like a dedicated duck hunter.
That's
I
glad you said
fish
that.
and I love to fish, but a dedicated duck hunter, hey, he's out there in the water throwing
dedicated,
decoys.
isn't he?
Hey, shooting them 3-inch magnums. I mean, we went over there opening weekend of duck season, dude, and it sounded like a war going on.
Are you going to let me show this product?
Go ahead.
Show the product.
I just had to show this
Me and
product
Dayton
because
had that on together.
yeah, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
No, now look, this I just recently got this from Redhead Bass Pro Shops. I've been promised by all my friends they're going to take me duck hunting, so I went and got some stuff to go duck hunting with. This thing is the warmest thing I've ever had in my life. It's like 2 or 3 jackets in one.
Yeah, we were both in it.
It's a parka, but it's got the Marshland camo, and you talk about warm.
Yeah, we were warm.
You didn't see anything. That's what I was telling you. We were
I'm
waving
telling
at you as you're going down the lake. You didn't even.
You know, it's hard to soar with eagles
When you got a bunch
when you
of
got a couple of ducks over here.
First they didn't call us turkeys.
Hey, I tell you what, we got to take another fine break, and when we come back, we're going to open up our phone lines at 737-7767. So get ready to use those dialing fingers. We'll be right back with more of Southern Woods and Water.